it's just nice to see someone in the industry that actually cares about what they're putting out and putting their name on it. I am so excited today to show off a brand new release from Taylor RC, where you are able to build the wildest Promoto MX of your dreams. So if you have the Losi Promoto MX or the Supermoto, every single component here that I'm going to show you will fit your bike. Taylor RC is based in the United Kingdom. They have been building a name for years in the large scale segment, making the best no compromise upgrades for the 5th scale market. And they're expanding that same vision and that same philosophy into other segments. The Losi Supermoto and the Promoto MX is the first of many platforms that are getting this treatment. And while I know a lot of people love the unbox videos, I've already taken everything out of the box and the package, and I will tell you that right now, when these parts are in your hands, there is no equal to what you're about to see. So what we'll start with are some of the more popular upgrades that have been happening for the Promoto MX along the front end here. Leaning into their experience with 5th scale, again, what Mike has developed is a new front brake caliper. The front brake caliper of the Promoto MX is probably the biggest letdown of what is an otherwise incredible engineering marvel that Losi has produced. This piece here is a 7075 billet machined aluminum brake caliper, which features brake pads that we use in large scale RCs. The reason we do this is because we have tried and used so many different brakes, and we have found what works the best. These are brakes that will grab with consistency, they grab with a lot of force, and they last virtually forever. We've been using them on extremely high-powered radio-controlled car builds of engines with up to 88 cc's of displacement. These are the best brake pads that you can get. So some of the design features of this brake caliper that set it apart from others is that this uses a levered cam design to clamp on the brakes. The reason that this matters is because the worm drives are inconsistent and they fail and they get sloppy and they don't work great. So that's why we've gone with a cammed lever design. The other thing that this uses is on that cammed lever, it pivots on a hardened steel pin, a dowel pin that's set in place. Other things that help improve the braking performance is that we have two high-strength tempered springs to push the brake pads apart. So this is nice when you're running, you know that your brakes are not dragging on the disc at all. So that's a really critical part of braking performance. The brakes come fully assembled, ready for installation. The only thing that you need to do is remove the little crimp on the cable, and you'll thread it through the small hole and then clamp it back on the other end. I'm going to have a separate video that I will produce all about the high performance brake caliper, including the installation, the setup, testing with the stock servo, and testing with an aftermarket higher powered servo so that we can see this in action. This brake caliper will work with your stock Losi disc brake as well as the Taylor RC machined steel disc brake. One of the first parts that everybody breaks on their Promoto MX is what's called the front crash structure. On your Promoto MX, it's the front part that kind of looks like your radiator. So this piece is milled from a total machine piece of aerospace grade aluminum. It has a really nice logo etched into it, and the finish is perfect. There are no burrs. Every single edge is nicely beveled. All the tool path and marks make a really nice finish. So if you want to build an absolutely bulletproof front end, the crash structure is important. You can complement that with a titanium hinge pin. It's been broach machined on this end with Allen wrench will fit, as well as a high strength zinc coated hardware for the other side. Perfect for that front crash structure to pivot on. Working in tandem with the crash structure is the front bulkhead assembly. This is the most impressive looking piece out of the whole range, just by visual looks. This thing is, let me get that in frame. You can see that it's been relieved of weight where possible, but it's been kept brutally strong. You can see that it's got the logo engraved there, as well as on the front. The bearings are pre-press fit and they spin and move nicely, rotate freely. The triple clamp assembly, which is kind of the front fork of your bike and what pivots and turns, Taylor RC also has a solution for that. So this is the Taylor RC triple clamp assembly, and this is a incredibly machined piece. The tolerances are unlike anybody else's. So for the bottom of the clamps, you've got the post that comes down. You can see that it's keyed in, and that keys in to the bottom clamp. This is the part that attaches to the steering servo, and it even has a logo engraved on the bottom. There is no way that you'll ever see this logo when it's installed, but here's the thing. Taylor RC is all about style, strength, and design. One of the ways that you can tell whether or not a thing has been machined nicely is, does it fit as intended? With a little bit of effort, slides in, so the inner race of the bearings spin when I turn this, but I'm able to also remove it with my fingers. With that keyed in design for that bottom clamp, once it locks in, you know it's not going anywhere. And those things will work together. This clamp comes down on top, and just look at this assembly. I mean, this is an impressive piece. This alone is why you can see that Taylor RC leads the way when it comes to large-scale design. Large-scale RC cars demand a lot, and Taylor RC has been able to take what they've learned over these last 8 years and put that into the design of these bike parts. You have the front suspension mount, and then working your way back, you've also got a full chassis plate. Now these are, again, aircraft grade aluminum. They've been pocketed. These come in the heaviest plastic that I have ever seen in the radio control car industry. This is not a cheap bag. This is a very heavy, thick bag that's done by design so that when you get your part, it comes out of the package beautifully. There's no marks or anything like that. I will show you. So you can see when it comes out of the package, it's going to be, all the polished parts are polished nicely. Every edge is beveled. There's no sharp edges. This is finished. This is incredible. The main chassis has ball bearings where needed that are press fit in, and they rotate without any problems. On the bottom of the motorcycle, this was also something that was given attention with this skid plate set. So the skid plate set is excellent. They've been pocketed here in all the places where you can reduce the weight as much as possible. They've also got these little kind of tabs that will interlock and fit seamlessly together. So once that's all bolted to the frame, this piece fits and works nicely. Again, it just has such a nice finish. I cannot stress this enough. I've been in radio control cars for too long, and when I pick up a part that's cheap, I know immediately. This doesn't feel that way. You can tell the difference between someone that uses a high quality raw material versus an inexpensive one. It's just nice to see someone in the industry that actually cares about what they're putting out and putting their name on it. Working our way to the back suspension is this suspension mount linkage set. This is where that rear shock absorber and the trailing arm pivot and link together. These have pre-installed bearings. It has the Taylor logo, again, etched on both sides, nicely visible, perfectly machined. And you were able to complement these components here with some titanium rear suspension linkage hinge pins. It's always nice to put a little bit of an exotic material on your bike. That's going to conclude it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and checking out some of the new parts here from Taylor RC. If you have any questions about any of the products that I've shown off today, please leave those questions down below and I will get to them and answer them. These parts are available now on the Taylor RC website. We ship worldwide. Wherever you're located, we can send it to you. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.